Let's learn how to name hydrocarbons, basically those that belong to the family alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes. Now, to give you a quick recall, alkanes were hydrocarbons which only had single bonds between their carbon atom, whereas alkenes, they were hydrocarbons which had at least one pair of carbon atoms with a double bond in between them. And alkynes had at least one pair of carbon atoms with a triple bond in between them. And we saw that there are so many in number, and that's why we need to name them. See, we cannot talk about any of the hydrocarbons without knowing the names of it, right? We need to refer to them by some name. And we could have given them some random pet names. But since there are so many in number, it will be extremely difficult to remember so many names. And that's why we need to have an intuitive way of naming them. And yes, we do. See, every hydrocarbon name has two parts to it. One, the root word, and second, the suffix. The root word tells us how many carbon atoms are present in the molecule. And the suffix, it tells us whether the hydrocarbon belongs to an alkane family or alkene or alkyne. Basically, are all the bonds single bond or are there double or triple bonds present? And with just these two information, you will be able to name many hydrocarbons. For example, if I'm thinking of a hydrocarbon which has two carbon atoms, okay, and one double bond between them. With just these two information, you will be able to guess which hydrocarbon am I thinking of. You will write two carbons and then a double bond in between them. Rest all valencies will be satisfied by hydrogen. That's why this is a hydrocarbon. So yes, this is the hydrocarbon that I was thinking of. So yes, these are the two information needed to name a hydrocarbon. Now let's look at each one of them in detail. So root words are words that denote the number of carbon atom present in the molecule. And traditionally, we have been using these root words. If there is only one carbon atom, then we use the root word meth. For 2, we use the word eth. For 3, prop. For 4, but, and so on and so forth. So for example, if I had this molecule to name, so first of all, I'll focus only on the carbon atoms. And here I see that there are 3 carbon atoms. So for 3, to denote the presence of 3 carbon atoms, I will use the root word prop. Let me write it down. Prop. Similarly, let's look at one more example. Can you pause and guess what will be the root word for this compound? If you have tried it, let's see. See, this one has only one carbon atom, okay? And for 1, we use the root word meth. Let's look at one more example. Pause and try to name the root word for this one. So here, if you see, there are only 2 carbon atoms present. So here we will use the root word eth for this. Eth. Now let's talk about the suffix. See, this is a word that gets added to the root word and it denotes whether the molecule belongs to alkane, alkene or alkyne family. For example, if there are only single bonds between the carbon atoms, that means the molecule is an alkane and will have the suffix "ane" added to the root word. If there is even one double bond between 2 carbon atoms, that means the molecule belongs to the alkene family and will have the suffix "ene" added to the root word. And if there is even one triple bond, that means the suffix will be "ine." For example, let's look at the first molecule. So if I just focus on the bonds between the carbon atoms, you can see that there is